Hello, ladies, and welcome to the Beauty Shaman. So I have, by popular demand, Andrea Flommer from Dressing for the Real You back on the channel to talk about holiday dressing and what is appropriate, and bling and velvet and glam is in style, but how do we pull it off? Andrea, what is the theme for holiday dressing?
Thanks so much for having me. This is always a fun one to do.
Yes. So what's the theme for holiday?
Well, I think this year it's bright and shiny. I mean, every year around this time of year, it's bright and shiny because that's the way we bring brightness in, at least in the Northern Hemisphere, to the darkest time of the year. But the reality is that even if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, people celebrate Christmas and New Year's, and so a lot of these things are translatable for anybody anywhere around the world. But the whole point this year is like really over the top, bright and shiny. So I think that's where we'll start, is
Yes.
looking at that.
Yes, let's start with that. So with their old reliables, they're sequins, velvet, and satin textiles. So these are wonderful. I wore my new velvet vintage jacket that I'm madly in love with. I got it at a little outdoor market, and it's like my favorite thing now. And you've got the same color. We managed to color coordinate unbeknownst to the two of us, but in any case, we didn't know we were going to color coordinate. So bringing in sequins. Okay, let's start with sequins. Personally, I'm scared of sequins. Okay, now I'm a pretty bold dresser. I mean, I can get away with a lot, but sequins are scary. So let's talk about sequins, how to integrate that as a mature woman.
Okay, so sequins are a real big deal, and I've seen some. I think some of the younger girls wear full length head to toe sequins, either in a mini dress or in a long dress, ankle length, and it is stunning on the right person. But yes, it makes you show up, and it is a dramatic statement. So unless you want to show up that much and make that dramatic a statement, you have to tone it down a little bit. Um, one of the people, speaking of the Southern Hemisphere, one of the people that I follow online is Faye Brown from Australia, and she has a shop there, and she wears at this time of year, which is summer there, the most beautiful sequined jacket, just a waist length, not very long jacket. So that's one way you bring it in one piece. In other words, yeah, you can go for a sequin skirt. That would be perfectly fine. And yes, you can go for a short sequin jacket. A longer sequin jacket is going to really show up. But you could also wear a sequined like t-shirt, something that has a little bit more bling, but you can wear something over it so it shines through, but you're not making that much of an expression. So yes, I agree with you. You have to tread carefully with sequins. And yes, it is bold and it makes you show up a lot, especially if you're tall.
So yes, I'm tall. I'm 5'10". So I can get away with a lot because I'm tall. I'm not particularly thin. I'm curvy. So sequins to me always make me feel like I've turned into gargantuan woman. And that's probably not true, but it is how I feel. So I think you're right. Like choosing that item of clothing, whatever that is, and just strategically like placing it, right? So that it doesn't, like, whatever is your best feature. For example, my housemate has great legs, but she has a wider middle. So we were just talking about this sequin skirt she has. And I thought that would be great for her because she has these great legs. My legs are really thick because I'm a runner. I would not wear a sequined mini skirt ever in my life, right? It's just never going to happen. So let's talk more about how to bring in things like velvet and satin, like some of these textiles. Let's go more into textiles and how to wear them.
Okay, so um, velvet is essentially a romantic textile. It has reflection, but it kind of brings your attention in and out. It's sensuous, and so and it is reflective, not in the same way that sequins would be, but so like the jacket that you're wearing now, because it's a flatter kind of velvet, it's not going to reflect as much light, but it still has that sensuality to it, and it absorbs light.
Right.
Velvet in general absorbs light. And again, so if you have a personal style that's very romantic, You can do head to toe velvet. That's perfectly fine. Or, I haven't seen them, but I know they're out there. You could, over a simple outfit, you could wear a color like a red or a green or a blue velvet long coat. Now, that would be very dramatic, but it would be gorgeous. And it would be a nice way to bring in some of it's not bright, but it's indicative of this season. It's got that warmth to it. And it is a warmer textile. So, I see a lot of these girls wearing these blingy mini dresses, and I keep thinking, are they going to be warm at night? They're going to freeze to death. But yes, velvet, it could be a jacket, a short jacket, or a blazer would be gorgeous. You could wear a velvet skirt. Velvet skirt is very, this is an important point. The thing about fashion is the whole purpose of the fashion industry is to make us feel kind of insecure that we're out of it this year. But if you just have some basics that are really good quality, you can pull them out every year and they're going to be fashionable every year at this time. For example, a sequin t-shirt, a long velvet skirt, a beautiful velvet jacket. These things are perennials. They're not going to go out of style. So if you see something that you really like and it's in the right color and it suits your personality, buy it and keep it and wear it for years. And don't feel like you have to go with the weirdest, oddest, most cutting edge thing. So, for example, you said that's a vintage jacket. You do vintage so beautifully, but there's no reason you can't find something beautiful like that in a vintage shop. So I'm really glad you brought that up, that we're such conspicuous consumers all the time. This is a way to tone it down, but to always look chic. So velvet's a big deal. Yes.
And one of the things I love about talking to you is that you're able to bring in trends in a way that fits with a mature woman and also doesn't break the bank. Like, I think the idea like this, I think was $42 in a vintage store, which is actually a great price for a vintage 1940s jacket. And I think if we shop well, because we're all combating inflation, we're all going through this right now. So so I would like, I guess, to speak to even more like bringing in some of these like silk textures and things like that in a way that is, we didn't have this to talk about, but it's just occurring to me right now how important it is for us to say, okay, I just want to bring in this one element to make it a little bit more on trend. So can you speak to that a little bit more? Because I think that's really, for me, that's super helpful. Just how can I do this? Or maybe we'll get to jewelry a little bit later, but I do think this idea of, like you said, a sequin t-shirt, how beautiful is that? That's a great idea. That's not expensive.
Right. And that's the idea, is that you start with some of the basics that you have. For example, everybody um, should have, it depends on your lifestyle. If you're living a very rustic environment and you just wear jeans and t-shirts, God bless you. I would live like that if I could. But, for most of us, a good pair of beautifully tailored slacks in one of your dark neutrals, black, of course, or, even I have some corduroy pants in this exact color. I wear them in the winter. I wear them every winter, bring them out. But then I added a satin blouse. Now, satin is always popular and it's a 3-season item. And this year, I mean, it's been happening for more than a year now, but this year, satin blouses are available in so many places for such reasonable amounts in gorgeous colors, like Quince, which is one of my most visited websites, has gorgeous satin. They're stretch satin, which is nice because if you put on a little bit of weight, you can wash these in the washer. You have to be careful with them, but yeah, they have gorgeous colors, really inexpensive. I think it's like 59, 69 bucks for a beautiful silk blouse. This is from Inez de la Frazange for Uniqlo. Uniqlo, is another discount fashion place. But everybody's, because of the economy, all these retailers are offering incredible discounts right now. So that's a thing, a beautiful silk blouse with a simple tailored pair of pants and with velvet jacket or a long coat, whatever you have in your wardrobe that works with that. But the silk thing is so popular now. A lot of the younger girls are wearing these, not just younger girls. They're long. They actually they're slip dresses. Some of them are actually made to look like slips. I don't know why you would wear that in the public, but they are, they're sort of spaghetti strap. Would be for a New Year's Eve party, or in a nice color for a wedding. And then at our age, we could get away with it if we feel comfortable having something that's that fitted, and then wearing some kind of a jacket or a shrug over the top of it. The other thing is they're showing these slip skirts everywhere. They have them in the shorter versions to the knee length, but you're seeing a lot in the midi version and in the ankle version. And we could do that. Now, one of the things that I saw that was just stunning, I think it was on the Banana Republic website. There was a woman who was wearing one of these very long skirts, ankle length. And with it, she was wearing a simple white cotton blouse, rolled up at the cuffs. She looked very much like Carolina Herrera style, but she had this beautiful long ankle length skirt on. And that was the way to go high, low, where you're wearing something that ordinarily would seem a little bit more casual, but it's a tailored blouse with one of those long skirts. And I also saw them with knife pleat skirts, the really fine pleats, ankle length. That is a gorgeous look. So you could wear a silk blouse with that, or you could wear a plain white blouse with that, or a color if you want. And there you've got something beautiful, a blouse that you would wear 4 seasons. If it's a silk blouse, I suppose you could wear in the summer too. Why not? So I think these are great options. It's to take something you have that's really beautiful and then just maybe add one piece that really appeals to you that's new in the season. And reality is that could be an accessory.
Right.
You don't really have to buy something new every season, every Christmas, every year.
Let's go into accessories and jewelry and shoes. Accessories. Let's talk about that.
Okay, so for the shoes, they're showing, this has been coming on for about 10 months now. They're showing the kitten heel slingback heels, short heels, and really pointy heels. They're showing these little pointy heels with boots, with ankle boots, with, calf high boots, and with high boots. And with those long skirts, you could wear a boot or you could wear the slingbacks. Those would be gorgeous. But for a lot of us, even a little bit of a heel is too much. Just wear an embellished flat. Now, one of my friends who's extremely creative has some gorgeous flats. And what she did was go to a vintage shop and buy a pair of old rhinestone earrings and clip them on to her little ballet slippers. And so suddenly she had blingy ballet slippers. So she could take off those earrings to wear them in the summer or the fall or the spring. And then during the holiday season, she just clipped on those really fancy earrings onto the shoes, and she had like a new shoe, right? But if you want to buy something for the winter and you want to dress your outfit up, even if you have a very plain, simple outfit, and it's something you've had in your closet, if you want to feel a little bit more exciting and more part of the season, sure, buy yourself a pair of flats that's got some embellishment on it, maybe a bow or maybe some rhinestones or something like that. So that's another option. It's the lower heels are really good for us now. If you're wearing a very fancy dress like a long satin dress, neck to ankle with the spaghetti strap kind of thing, you might want a little bit more of a heel. They're wearing those sort of strappy sandals with these for the holidays. I hope they don't live in snow season.
Yes. Yes, I know. We both live in a very temperate climate, but I'm going home for Christmas this year in Washington State. It is so cold. So when I
Oh, yeah.
see like mini skirts coming up, or like you're saying, temperature wise, I think it can be sort of dicey and tricky with some of these ideas in shoes. But I love the idea of clipping an earring on your shoe. That's actually really super creative. Now,
Yeah.
what about earrings? Are they big? What's going on with those?
Well, so what we've been seeing in this past year, and it's continuing on now, are these earrings that are sort of artistically creative, chunky earrings. So they're kind of amorphous shapes, but they're kind of bold and chunky. It's moving sort of into the 80s style, but they'll bring more brightness to it, especially if they're in gold or silver. And but you asked about this when we had about some of the longer earrings, and I'm wearing my Christmas pair that my husband got me maybe 10 years ago that I bring out every holiday season. But they're showing the cascading earrings now. So if you are doing something very simple and you have a simple neckline without a lot of competing colors or patterns, you could wear some of those cascading rhinestone earrings. You probably will find them at a vintage shop, or they're very inexpensive these days. And they can be multiple strands. You can also wear your blingiest holiday ones that would maybe be colored stones, but in drops, boom, 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 boom. So those are the options. You either go solid and bright in gold or silver, or something sort of dangling. So those are kind of fun. I think that's nice. And if all else fails, get a little rhinestone clutch,
Yeah.
That's something you could, again, something you would be perennial, and it would add a little bit of brightness and bling to the whole look.
Right. Right. Wonderful. And lastly, I forgot to bring up something that I actually really love this season. It's the faux fur, because that's another way to just bring some fun and that, like, I've seen some faux fur that are just super glamorous. So I think if you're going to a glamorous party and you want to add the glamour and maybe like a blingy earring with the faux fur jacket, it's really cool.
Right. And those again are things that you'll pull out year after year after year, and they keep you warm, and they're not expensive, and they come in colors. If you could go for I have a leopard one, a short, chunky one that's leopard, and I have a longer one that I got at Zara. Both were under $70, I think. And every time I wear them, people go, "Oh, that's so pretty. Where'd you get it?" So every year you could do that. It could be a pattern like an animal print, or it could just be a plain color. Get it in pink, get it in white, get it in blue, a beautiful color. Yes, it would make you show up. And again, like velvet, it is a romantic textile, because people will I can attest to this. People will walk up to you and they'll go, "Oh, that feels so nice."
Yes.
You'll get a little massage from strangers.
Right. Yes. And what I love is it's an easy way to look not just festive, but almost look wealthy, look like, oh, I've and nobody's really probably going to ask, is that real? Like, I think it's that lovely, like wearing blingy earrings. You got to get them at the dollar store, nobody's really going to know unless they look really closely. So I love that you can add these things in very, very easily. And I love the idea too of it's like one item, or what you were talking about, the one earring or the one shirt or the one long jacket. So I think all of that is very practical for people going into the holiday.
Yeah, that's great. Just one aside, Stella McCartney, Paul McCartney's daughter, who's a very famous designer, um, never uses fur or leather in anything. And so her fur jackets, her faux fur jackets, are pretty expensive, and nobody questions anymore, like you said.
Right.
So sure, yes, exactly. It makes you look luxurious. And if you get it in faux, it also makes you look environmentally conscious.
Right.
So you win. It's a win-win.
It's win-win. We always want that. We want the win-win. So
I agree.
awesome. Well, thank you, Andrea. I feel like we've covered it for the holiday season. It's about bling and glitter and glamour, but appropriately placed. right? Did I kind of get the theme there?
Right. Now you got it.
You got it. All right, ladies, if you have any questions, please write down below. Andrea and I love to hear from you. We'd love to respond and come with your questions or even just your input on what you're wearing for this holiday season. So thank you so much, Andrea, for joining me here on The Beauty Shaman.
My pleasure. Happy holidays to everyone.
Happy holidays, everyone.